Hello. Hello. Good morning. Eat snacks for about 1 minute while people show up, and then I'll start. It is not afternoon here. Can't say afternoon. I said last stream that one could have made MGUI as fast as retain mode GUI in the 80s. How is that possible? If a retain mode UI doesn't get inputs, it really does nothing, whereas an MGUI has to recreate all its UI elements every frame. No, it doesn't. What are you talking about? There's several things wrong with that. What do you mean by every frame, first of all? Why are you assuming that in the 1980s you would draw things frame by frame? Why wouldn't you just draw it with dirty rectangles just like you did everything else in the 1980s? Ugh. I got this flavor of aloe drink. It has mango in it. And it's surprisingly not good. I don't really like it. But in order to process an input in an MGUI, you need to have some sort of main loop to call your button function. No, you just need to run that code whenever you need to process an event. In a video game on a fast computer, we do that every frame. You don't need to do it every frame. You just need to do it when you process an event. The difference is that in an immediate mode GUI, you write that code and you see and understand what it does. And in like an object-oriented GUI or other kind of retain mode GUI, it's supposedly magically handled for you by some function that like recursively navigates your data structures. Either way, there's code that runs when an event happens to handle the event. Can I explain how the witness does env puzzles and panels partially obscured? We just raycast against the environment, which isn't quite right. We should do triangle intersection with the environment, but unfortunately I cheaped out on that when I started, and then when we got close to shipping, it was too hard to change. If you have a pointer to a pointer and so long, does the dot operator dereference all the way down? No, because the dot operator only dereferences names. Oh, so you're like, does the dot operator go through like 17 levels of indirection to get the X member? No, it doesn't. Other than C++, do you take any inspiration from other programming languages? I don't know. A little bit from some places, but we're not mostly doing this we're not like following a model set by another language, so it's a little hard. You guess you have another definition of ImGUI in your head. Does mine include polling or callbacks to react to inputs? Well, that part, like, how do you know there's an input? You don't get to decide. Like, the operating system has some way that it's going to tell you if there's an input, right? So whether that's polling or a callback is not up to you. If I understand the question, maybe I just don't understand the question. Okay. I'm going to start doing some of the stuff we talked about last night. I believe well, I thought that was where that line of code was. Note uncompleted using. We're going to start doing that on all scopes. Okay. So there's that. That is called from here, which has been added to scope. There was some other thing that we need to... Oh boy, look at all the times this flag is used. right? Messenger, parser. Why does Visual Studio think that's comment? Oh, the comment's over here. It was unreadable. I was like, what? Yeah. Okay, I'm a little bit worried because there was something we saw last night. I had a comment about well, we're doing this now. So we had something that said we use dependencies, and we haven't removed that yet. Well, you can decide whether you block on the window messages loop in Windows or whether you don't when there are no more messages to process. What does any of this have to do with the basic question about how you handle the event? Did I go to PAX West? Nope, I did not go to PAX West. I mean, that's still going on right now, I think. This is going to have a lot of hits. That's what we were just looking at. I'm worried. I thought it was just a call to note uncompleted using. Maybe I deleted the comment. Well, I don't see as well. Okay, when I make a using, if we are doing dependencies, did I not save this file properly? So let's look at the places where we either type check or parse asked using, and Oh, we don't have an asked using anymore. We got rid of that. We use that marked as using flag. We used to have a separate syntax tree node to represent a using, but then we said, it's always on a declaration for various reasons. So that's to trigger using insertion for parameters. This is old enough that we don't want that. Import links should not be marked as using. That asserts fine. Yeah. Okay. All right, so how about in parser, when we make one? Oh, sorry. If we started with using, we don't seem to do any dependency thing there. Type in, this is for a bare struct, probably inside another struct. I don't see anything that makes dependencies based on these guys. I am really worried that I just haven't found the appropriate code. That's a problemo. Oh, no, you know what it is? Probably the using itself doesn't ever invoke a dependency, but like if you just have a member in a struct, right, that's what it is. In your head, it's about control flow and blocking the user program will only be notified when an event happens. When polling, the user program has to decide how often it wants to poll input. I thought blocking was a property of imGUI or RMGUI and polling of imGUI. That seems to be wrong, question mark. I'll put it this way. Retained mode GUI doesn't give you a choice because in the model, you just write handlers for events and you don't control the event dispatching, right? In immediate mode GUI, you do control the event dispatching. So you could say what kind of event dispatching it is, and that's up to you. And that's one of the reasons why immediate mode GUI is better. So you're right that there is a difference there, but that difference doesn't prevent you from doing what you need to do, right? Have I made other languages? Yes, I've made a whole bunch, but not at this level of production. Man, Ginger Bill came into the luxury lounge and just said a bunch of really annoying things. He like goes in there and pimps all his design decisions that I think are not good. So I'll be happy if other people have conversations in the luxury frequent flyer lounge and scroll that off the screen. Uh, okay. Okay, people. Yeah, whenever you see an ImGUI example in games, it's probably just checking for events every frame and drawing every frame because that's just how we do it. But that's not really necessary for something to be immediate mode GUI, really. Immediate mode GUI just means you don't construct widgets or objects for your uh, things on the screen. You just handle them as you need to. Okay. Well, so I didn't change very much. But let's verify. Probably did break something. Find declaration helper. Did not like that. Resolve one ident. Oh, because we probably find declaration helper has an assert. No. Oh. Because we only set waiting on usings if block type is block imperative. That is no longer true. Okay. So I'm using null putter here. Okay. So if it's not a data declarations block, then it belongs to a lambda and we check order. Okay. Wait, what? Do I have an overload of that for an array of usings? What is going on? I guess I rely on the fact. Yeah, okay. I see what I'm doing. All right. Now let's see what happens. Type table line 356. What? What are you talking about? That's weird. All right. Well, let's see why we're having a problem there. I do that for the debug build, yeah. Okay, so Ignacio put in some exception handling stuff, and it is now preventing me from debugging because it's new and it's like not detecting that I'm in a debugger or something. Bro. Or no, maybe I just screwed this up. Yeah, we're just not even starting. Why are we like not even starting? I don't think we're hitting handle exception. Abort has been called. Well, this is great. We don't call abort ourselves. Let's see if that happens. Why did it put my breakpoint up there down here? Frickin'. So we're running. Okay. Let's just not do this. There we go. I'll send him a quick email. Unfortunately, enable crash handler prevents the debugger from working. Comment delete out my local copy for now. Okay. I sync the subs. I thought, let me see. Server settings, integrations, update. 56 subscribers. Oh my God. Okay, now they're synced. Go talk about things. So Ginger Bill's stuff scrolls up. Okay, so we're asserting that things in the constants block are inferred, and they are not. Like, what does this have to do with what I was doing? What struct is this? that we are sizing. Open file name. This must be some crazy Windows struct. Line 3580 of Windows. Look at all that. Why? Ignacio is doing a fancy parameterized type situation, which is fine, should work. I just don't think we should do the A versions, but whatever. Is this new? I want to make sure this really has to do with the changes that I made. Whoops, no. No! All these are from yesterday. So, yeah, this isn't new. Why would anything have changed this? Because I don't see any usings in this struct. Maybe the thing I deleted from type table, did I delete something? Maybe the thing I deleted had unintended consequences. Diff later. All right. What are our changes right now? Main. That's a comment deletion. That's not much. This thing. Oh, the place where we remove waiting on usings isn't removing them, probably. I don't know why. Yeah, here. There. I searched for block data declarations, but not imperative. All right. That may not solve it, but that was wrong. Dude, I hate this noise. Okay, so we still have this problem. For all we know, this problem was happening, and we just weren't running debug build on Sokoban anyway. There's no waiting on usings, so that's not the problem. So like this struct has an argument that hasn't been resolved yet. So why are we sizing it? This is like a totally different thing. What am I improving about using? I'm just simplifying what was there. But it appears that we may have run into a different problem. And maybe, I mean, I kind of want to revert and then just solve this problem so that I can go back and do the other problem. Or the problem is, maybe this is only happening, even if it's a different problem, maybe it's only exhibiting because of the other changes. In which case it would be helpful to open up my other laptop and have a fresh copy over there and see if this actually happens. However, my other laptop has some changes on it that were not done, that I was waiting on last night's bug fixes for. So I can't really do that strategy without checking out a fresh version of the compiler, which may be too much of a pain in the butt for me to bother with. Let me see. Like maybe if I update, this will just work and I could check this in. I don't think it's true. I don't think there's any way that that happens. Because it was a complicated modification that had some expected consequences. It is compiling. Yeah, there's tons of errors, which is what I would expect because I was messing around with namespaces. Yeah, so that still needs to happen. So we don't really have a fresh copy of things. Okay, well, let's just debug this. This may or may not be related to what we were doing. Unfortunately, in about 1 hour, I gotta go. So we'll see if we can get to the bottom of this in that time. Why do we think we should size this struct? Probably because it has no dependencies on anybody. This is the thing, is it's past the infer pipe. Maybe I did delete something about dependencies, because the thing, it should have been a dependency that is holding us back, but we're not being held back. Like, we shouldn't be past the infer pipe. Okay. Well, how is that supposed to work for polymorphic structs? Actually, no. Okay, if it is the non-polymorphed version of the struct, then we should be able to go through the infer pipe. And in that case, we would have just we should have just assigned an inferred type of polymorphic use to that parameter. If you know what I'm saying. Oh, good. People have been saying things in the luxury lounge. That's nice. Thank you. Okay. So which one is this? Let's find out. Let's see where it's created. Whoa. The line and file are uninitialized. We should really fix that. What is going on with all my windows? What is this? I don't want code definition. Now we wait and wait and wait. I wonder, it's probably parsing that every time. And I wonder if breakpoints would go faster if I checked the local variable. The problem is, well, I would have to put it. Yeah, I don't know. We'll just see. See how long it takes. just waiting to get to the break point. We're just waiting. All right, that didn't take too long. We're making a struct because we parsed it. So that, okay, we still got this number in our buffer. Okay. So that's good. So it's not a weird problem with like, we polymorphed this struct and then it got somewhere. This is like the original struct. Okay, so we get here and we go over the constants block. Okay, this struct should be marked as polymorphic. Do I have flags for that? We shouldn't be sizing it, I don't think. Struct flags. Okay. You don't have a struct as, we at one point had a struct as polymorphic flag, but I think we put it on the defined type. So the def and flags, 512 is polymorphic, I think, right? So, yeah. So we know that this is polymorphic still. So why are we, oh, I guess we're reporting the type. We do expect polymorphic things in here. So what do we do with all these declarations? If it's a constant, we put stuff in the constant storage buffer. I am really not sure about all this code. And notes. I mean, this assert isn't really doing anything useful. We're just doing it to make sure that things are done. So the question is, there are many questions. So the thing I don't remember is okay. This guy's inferred type should be I believe it should be set, and it should be set to a thing that says this is the constants block entry for this variable. Defines constants block entry. I changed the name of the variable at some point. So there's a thing that sets this attach def into constants block entry. Okay. This is in add to scope. Oh, but it has a type inst. Where even are we? This is in inferring a declaration. Okay. There's our declaration. Okay, so whoops, I didn't want to go there. See, I don't even know if we go here for that declaration ever. It's a maybe not. Let's get rid of some of these old breakpoints. What is the struct? This is one of those things where it's weird because I just haven't thought about this in a long time, so I've forgotten how it all works. Okay, that's flatten. This is infer. Yeah. Okay. We're going to break here when we make the struct. And then we're going to see when do we add that guy to the constants block. All right, So well, it's probably right here. So we do queue this guy. And we did add some code right here, which is making me a little nervous, but it's not a using declaration. So we queue it for infer. But the struct is not depending on it. So I bet later when we crash, this guy is queued, but he's still in pipe infer. I should have checked that early. He's queued. He's sitting in pipe infer. So this is a dependency problem. Maybe I did delete a dependency thing. Did I delete a dependency thing last night? Okay, let's just check real fast. No, I don't believe that I deleted any dependency thing today, but it's possible that I did, or it's possible that I did last night, in which case it would already be checked in and we wouldn't see it here. Because like if this happens to work in release build and not assert, which it may, then yeah. Hey, these are all like trivial changes here. I bet I messed this up in the previous stream and just didn't run a debug build. There are like so not enough changes here. Yeah. Okay. This is an ast, right? Where we say if depend. See, like here we add a dependency if we're queued and we're inside a lambda. Whoops. Didn't type the whole condition. Okay. So we have not yet added it. We're going to add this to the scope. It is not yet queued. Now it is. Okay. Does it belong to a struct? For some reason it doesn't. But it should. Struct needs to I don't like adding dependencies. My goal is to get rid of all these dependency things, but it's so easy that I just broke something really bad here. Desk is null. What? Oh no. Right, of course. The struct arguments flag does not say belongs to struct. So I have no way of getting back to the struct that this guy got added to. That's a problem. That's a problem. Okay, I could either change that, which might break some other things. Because maybe if people think a member is in, or a declaration is in a scope that's tagged as belongs to struct, that it uses storage. Maybe I should just quit all of programming forever. There's a lot of constants block action happening. Okay. How do I want to see? It's very tempting to solve this by just like adding some extra little patch over it in one way or another. But I want to reduce and simplify the number of these little patches. I don't really want to add more. I will if that's what we have to do, but I don't really want to add more. mean, I could just set the type of it way back here. Like we're just making more work for the compiler to say, oh, it's a thing that you have to infer later. Because we know what to do with it. We know what to do with it. It's just, it seems a little bit messy to do that here. It's also, though, the most expedient thing. For the compiler, and just reduces the amount of CPU usage and flailing. And then we wouldn't have to wait on anything. Hold on. Make sure that doesn't compile. So attach defen to constants block entry. I mean, we sort of do just want to call this right there. Like, kind of, why not? I don't know. Maybe this is a bad idea. Sometimes just things are a bad idea, and we have to learn this. Why am I no longer getting completion? This might not even be the right thing to do here. Well, we are in a different place. We're still off fill struct type definition. We have a declaration. Right. Okay, this is the other, so this is enough of a so the thing that I just did, if I extend it a little bit further, will solve this particular problem. But I actually want to know, because I haven't done anything significant in terms of changes yet, like I hadn't even got to the point where I was like really messing with stuff. I want to figure out what caused this. Because what this is saying, so that declaration we were looking at, let's go to the file. Whoops. Let's go to the file. So it's this declaration. This T is a type, and it's in the structs arguments block. So originally we were hitting an assert that says, hey, this whole declaration doesn't have a type assigned to it. The way the polymorph system works, the type should have been, oh, it's a thing that defines T is essentially what the type of this is. So we poked that in there directly so that we wouldn't have to do this synchronization wait on the thing situation. And now it's saying, oh, but this thing has a type instantiation of type. And I don't know what type that is. It's really type, right? And we could poke that in there directly right now. It's just I'm worried. I don't know when this happened and why. And why do I have to do this? It might be that this is a bug that's been there for a long time and just only started exhibiting lately. Or it might be that I changed something to make this happen. So I want to revert and figure that out. And then if we still feel like this is the right way to solve it, then we come back and do this. So so we're just doing this, attach defen to constants block entry. I'm just going to paste that there. Okay, so let's just revert. Sometimes you just got to do that. And we're going to compile now. And it's probably still going to happen because I suspect I made this problem recently. And then we're just going to search through the revisions of the compiler until it doesn't happen. And we will locate the change. Except, of course, that in half an hour, I'm going somewhere. I'm not seeing a problem. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, no, it built the whole damn Sokoban. Right? We can do this here. It'll take a while because it's debug build. So it's due to something that I just did at the start of this stream. That's so weird because I didn't think I did anything yet. But it's good to understand that. Okay. What even were we doing at the start of this stream? We were letting uncompleted usings happen on data scopes. So we can go remake those changes one at a time and see when there's a problem. Let's start with the most recent one. Oh, there it was. So this thing, we should always do. Does that cause the problem? I don't think so, but let's see. Like it really... Oh. Oh, because we didn't add the using, right? So this by itself is not a change that we can atomically add. So, well, let's look at that. Note uncompleted using. If it's a data... This is the thing that I was looking for. Did I just delete that early? Or I don't know. Anyway. I think we just deleted that early. Okay. So I remember deleting that for sure. Okay, so we insert this. Okay, that I remember doing this. If current scope block type is block data is not equal, let's just say not equal to block imperative. This is a little different than what we did last time because block struct arguments could be here, but really it shouldn't matter. That one didn't have a using. And now we have the same problem. Okay. Something we did messed this up. Out of those 3 changes. And in fact, one of them, well, yeah. This is a puzzle. I don't know. Can I look up who did what line of code? Is there an assignment missing where? Oh, duh. Yes, thank you. I don't think we made that mistake last time. Yeah, doesn't change anything. Okay. Well, am I going to upload recent compiler streams to YouTube? I don't know. Maybe not. Well, yeah, this is a weird situation. We made some small changes that don't seem to have to do with this assert, yet they are somehow causing the problem. Now, it may still be that this bug was already in the compiler and we were just getting lucky and we weren't seeing it because we always happen to compile things in an order that doesn't cause this. And then it's a low probability event, but this other thing has made it a definite event for some reason. I don't know if I believe that. Just try catch around it. Yeah, great idea. Mm-hmm. Okay. So part of the problem is, okay, well, why is this a confusing situation? Well, it's because it's complicated. It's because I don't remember clearly in my head right now exactly what is supposed to happen in the case of you have a thing that's a struct argument. It's supposed to get inferred. How does the struct wait on it, right? So we tried to add a dependency. That wasn't really, like there should be somebody adding a dependency somewhere. And I don't think there is, which is why I suspect that we're order dependent. But I don't understand why we wouldn't have triggered that more often, because it's very easy for things to get shuffled around when you compile in arbitrary orders like this. Anyway, I feel like we kind of need a dependency, except like I said, I don't want to have dependencies. So we could add a solution that makes the struct wait on its parameters if it's in the size pipe. That's a little bit annoying and stupid, and it's something that we're going to have to simplify out later. But if it's a legit bug in the compiler, then we need it to work. Yeah, I don't know. Let's go. Okay. So when we're sizing things, we say struct has been sized here. Do we have the ability to throw things back? We don't throw things back out of the size pipe. Maybe we do it out of the infer pipe. That would be a better place anyway. So we do job infer. Yeah. So here we throw guys back if they're not ready. And here we say do struct infer, which would be a good place to do this check. It's for a polymorphic struct. Oh yeah, this is really about carrying polymorphism on structs. Really. called arguments block? I guess we just put it in the constants block. So if it's this case, throw back if our constants block declarations have not yet inferred at speed, we could just infer them when we add them to the constants block, since we know what type they are supposed to be. I'm going to make a note on my piece of paper. That maybe I want to do that. But first we're going to like fix this way. So if we're a polymorphic struct, we're not ready until our arguments are ready. So we can't do all this because this it is a different thing. So auto So who knows, that could go haywire in some way for sure. What? Yeah. Oh, members.items. How could I screw this up so badly? Let's not forget all our braces. Go to the dentist and get your braces. Go to the dentist and get your... Oh boy! Everybody, okay. So now it's like we're probably not letting any structs ever pass. Yeah. So that's not good. So it's about time for me to end the stream and go do some fun Sunday stuff. But we started in one place, which is like, hey, I want to do this overload thing. And we hit these complications with a different problem. This often happens when working on a thing this complicated. But it's usually a sign that we would like to simplify things, because if you start tripping over problems like this and then they're hard to understand, well, I mean, if there were a simpler way for things to be, then maybe you would understand them, right? So, part of what's going on here is that it's been a long time since I've looked at this one thing, so I'm not sure how it's supposed to be handled. But it seems like it is handled somewhere. It seems like there's code that is making this work somewhere. And then my new changes with the overload thing, with the using thing, break it for some reason. And I could start to hypothesize about that reason, but it might be complicated. And then, so now this not working and totally going haywire is probably a totally different thing. I don't honestly know. But it might just be that nobody now sets the inferred types of these things. Let me just take a look at some of these errors, if they're all actually in polymorphic structs. Yeah. Now, okay, here's what I think is happening now. Yeah, so we've got a using on some struct in this file or something, and that's causing the whole scope to wait. And so none of these things are getting looked up, and then our error reporting doesn't say hey, bucko, there are uncompleted usings, which it should. So error report says uncompleted usings. So I feel like the best solution to this problem is to go way back and do the thing that I was going to do, which is just when we put something in the structs arguments block, set the type. Because that is the simplest thing. I mean, it's still complicated in the sense that we're setting that at a different time than we set other things. But it's simpler in the sense that, we can't actually do that. We can't actually do it. Because the thing that's in the type slot, this could be an arbitrarily complex expression, which means you need the general type inference mechanism to be running on it, which means you can't shortcut it by doing a thing like I was doing. So what I want to do, next stream, I'm going to revert everything. And I'm just going to look at this. And I'm going to say, when does this get inferred right now? Is it luck that it's just getting inferred before the rest of the struct? Or is it by design and I'm sabotaging that by, reordering things somehow? Which would mean it's not totally by design anyway. There would be a problem. But anyway, we'll look at that. We'll understand why that's happening. And then I can say, okay, what is complicated about this? What is invisible about it that's hard to understand? And then it's like, okay, how do we make it more visible? How do we make it less complicated, right? So the victory here we're not just gonna like just jam in some code to make it run. We're gonna really just try to uh, smooth things out and make them nice and make them better. Did I even go to bed? Yes, I did. Question, does the Windows Kit code handle if you install the Windows Kit through the MS Build Tools installer and not the VS installer? I don't know. I assume it should because it's using the registry entry to find the Windows Kit code, and I would assume that any installer does that. But you could try it and let me know. Will my ideas of code visualization help debug in cases like this? I'm not sure. I feel like, I mean, I haven't ever gotten very far into those ideas, so it's hard to say what they would be like. But I think they're more about keeping your code simpler so that you have fewer cases like this to deal with. I don't know if it helps that much with individual cases like this, but it might. It might. Like if I had a picture of my program to look at right now, maybe it would help me locate who is doing this, right? That might be good. All right, let's find someone to raid, because that's how we do it here. Who is game developing? Shaders for fun and profit. People in the luxury, frequent flyer, elite, pro, special lounge can vote on what we should do in terms of rating somebody. So this is the game dev, and here's programming. Who do we think is good? That's not programming. Probably. Unless you're doing a neural network style thing. C++ game engine development stream. Entity component system. Well, we could do that. I don't know. Is this person speaking much? Not really. Dude, he's making an overloaded operator equal on a queue function. I don't know if I can endorse this. Yeah, no, we're not doing that one. We need other people in the lounge to vote. What am I doing? I'm finding someone else to raid because the stream is over. We're not getting a lot of input about who to raid, so we're just going to pick someone. Still locked in the kitchen.
Least, and just evaluate it. And just evaluate it.
This doesn't look like a very fast language, but yeah, I just realized it was muted. Find someone who makes Windows Store games. Yeah, that could be pretty awesome. Let's go back to this. Is this guy saying stuff? Nope. And his code is still looking just as scary to me, so. Codeathon day 2. Okay. Um, already playable strategy game. He's just editing a level. It's not.
A lot of the map needs some lighting rebuild.
It's not programming. What about the roguelike platformer? Hold on. I gotta check the lounge again. I can't see. My alt tab looks just like the Twitch thing behind. There's a Sunday Funday Misc game dev. He's actually programming. Look at the speakers on the side of the chair there.
Where'd
That's
repo
pretty
browser
hardcore.
go? Just blind. Turtle port. There's no brains, it's just turtle port.
We could do some Linux game programming.
This project was initially created so that I could port to Linux, actually.
Linux needs some
That was
help,
the
so we'll do
initial
that
use
as
of
a
this
raid.
project. Since then it became a test ground.
All right, thanks everyone for coming by. And we're going to
Report,
attack
indeed.
this again, maybe this evening, maybe this afternoon, maybe tomorrow. We want to simplify this thing and make the compiler better. Oh, we got a
It's the
bird on
port
the
with
stream. It's
turtles
going to be
come
awesome.
to-
All right, thanks everyone for coming by. And we'll see you later on.